This is Abnormal Entertainment.
Welcome everyone to the Cinema Head Cheese Podshort. This is going to be the first in a series of mini podcasts that are dedicated to one review for one movie, one show, one whatever we decide to review. This is Kevin Moyers, by the way, and Dave and Jeff and I were talking about how to keep content going as we go through different life changes. Jeff moving recently, me moving recently, Cam Harston, who is one of our partners, who he's driving to Portland right now to move to Portland from Long Beach. So, him moving, all of us going through different things. Dave's schedule, Jeff's schedule are not normal, so to speak. They're not average, so they're all over the place. And it's just something we've all had to adjust to and get used to. So as the abnormal foursome gets our shit together, more or less, we're going to do these little mini pods. I'm calling them pod shorts. And we'll focus on one thing at a time. Now, the regular podcast will still exist as we can get organized and get scheduled to be on at the same time. In fact, the next regular podcast you will get from us will be from Phoenix Comic-Con. This is our third year there, so if you are in the Phoenix area for Comic-Con on Thursday night at 5 p.m. is when we start all of the Abnormal Entertainment shows. We're going to do 4 of them right in a row, and 9:30 will be the time for the Cinema Head Cheese / Atomic Fallout Society podcast. We scheduled it initially to be with the Atomic Boys before they broke off to start their own network, but we figured, fuck it, let's do this. Let's cross over the two networks since they are still part of the Abnormal family. They're the baby bird we set free from the nest. But they're all great guys, and I'm working with them on a video project right now, web series project right now, so we're still cool, we're tight, and we're gonna do that show together, so that'll span across 2 networks now, which would be fun and interesting, and that's usually who we pair Head Cheese with every year for Comic-Con, so we will have a full-on show there with those guys, but we will continue, like I said, the full shows whenever we can, but in the place of a full show, when we don't have one, we will have a mini-sode. And as we stockpile these, you may get 2 or 3 in a week. But we want to keep the content going. We appreciate you guys tuning in for this. And we don't want to let you down. We've missed a few weeks throughout 2014. I mean, we're 6 months into the year, and we've already missed probably 4 or 5 shows easily. So I don't like that. I want to have something for you, even if it's a short episode. And so, that's part of why I had the idea to do this. Not to mention, my Man of Steel solo show got some good response. So there might be spoilers in these, so be aware of that. We'll try to let you know when that's going to happen. But I think this will be a good way for us to keep in touch, more or less. So please let us know what you think about these. cinemaheadcheese@yahoo.com or at CINHeadcheese. Find us on Facebook as well. We have a pretty active community there. So just, do whatever you need to do to let us know what you think of these pod shorts, as we're going to call them. And, we'll keep this going for you. This will be much easier for us with our schedules. And like I said, I'll do some, Dave will, Jeff will. So you'll hear one of us each week on the shorts. But and we'll get full episodes in there as we go along. So, better for us, hopefully better for you guys. And again, we do appreciate everything and you guys tuning in. So, now that we're done with all of that bullshit, I would like to talk about X-Men Days of Future Past. I saw this opening weekend, saw it on Memorial Day, and this is the movie I was most excited for this summer. I think the track record of the X-Men movies has been really solid. Of course, the first one was good. The second one was great. The third one, a lot of people hated. There were things about it that I hated. It felt like they took a lot of things in that movie and just said, well, fuck, we have to wrap things up here. So it's the end of a trilogy. We have to wrap it up. Not thinking that these can go on for fucking ever. A lot of people were left sort of disappointed by part 3, which was The Last Stand. Wasn't good. But there were good things about it. I mean, I loved Kelsey Grammer as Beast. I thought that was great. The good and the bad mutants basically uniting. That was good. But they really ended a lot of characters in that. Jean Grey as a Phoenix. I don't know what the fuck happened to Professor X in that one. It was like he was obliterated somehow. You had Mystique. You had, all these guys that just, their powers were gone, and it was just a mess. But again, being a fan of the first two, I liked things about it. I still love the characters and so on and so forth. And I'm not a reader. I don't read the books. I watched the cartoon series in the early 90s. Thought that was great. And that's kind of how I became a fan of the X-Men. They would sometimes pop up in the 80s Spider-Man cartoon, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. And that was always cool. But, the 90s cartoon series was great because we got to know a lot of great characters in that. So, as the movies have gone on and we've gotten the chance to see these characters, it's gotten just better and better and better. So, the first 3 movies, again, good, better, mediocre. The Wolverine movies, man, the Origins Wolverine movie was such a huge letdown. The opening sequence, as Wolverine and Sabretooth are just tearing through time, was great. Very unique, very cool. I like Liv Schreiber as Sabretooth. I hope that as the movies progress, we get to see more of him as Sabretooth. Way better than Taylor Mane or whatever the hell. Tyler Mane. Yeah, he was one of the weak parts of the first movie. But Liv Schreiber was great as Sabretooth. Perfect, I thought. More of less the cartoon giant werewolf looking Sabretooth and more of an actual foil. So I like that. Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds, that was useless, and you never really saw Deadpool in his red outfit, you know what I mean? It just, they shoehorned a bunch of shit in there, and and they killed Deadpool at the end of the movie. Why? It's fucking stupid. They just, I hate when they blow through a character like that. It's like in the second Batman movie, the second Nolan Batman movie. Two-Face was Two-Face for, I don't know, a minute and a half. So, I don't know. It's just wasteful. When we're looking at things like the Avengers series, and they're letting things breathe. If it's a big character, they're not in and out and gone. So, I like that. Let it breathe. Let it go. Let's see where it's going to go. And now they're making comic book movies with the Avengers like they are comic books. Connecting the stories. Linking. Creating a history within those movies and those characters. Now, they're not exactly the same as the comic books, and that's fine. I mean, book to movie, you can't always translate it exactly the same. But and again, I'm not a reader, so I don't really give a shit. But I see the movies and with people and know people that are into the books or were into the books, where these stories come from, and they'll give me little pieces that might be missing, which is cool and good to know. But I think we have to be forgiving on those. You know what I mean? You cannot translate exactly. Even Sin City, which is pretty much right from the page, which is cool. You have to be a little forgiving with that kind of stuff. So it's an interpretation. That's it. So yeah, the Origins Wolverine, not good. I will say the favorite of mine. Well, I'll get to that in a second. The second Wolverine movie I thought really was good. I thought it was interesting. It was a complete storyline and was fun to watch. I thought it blew away the first Wolverine movie. And with as good as the second one was, I hope that there's a possibility of a third. Although some might consider Days of Future Past a bit of a Wolverine movie because he is a major part of it. Now, let's backtrack a bit. We saw the young Charles Xavier and the young Magneto in X-Men First Class. Great movie. My absolute favorite of all of the X-Men movies. Absolute favorite. I love what they did. It was fun to see Fassbender as he was Eric Lesnar or Lenchner. Lyncher. I can't say it right. Anyway, but he was Eric. He was the young Eric. Pre-Magneto. We see him become Magneto. You had Kevin Bacon, all that. Great. Developed those characters very well. Jennifer Lawrence was Mystique. And Nicholas Hoult was Hank, who became Beast later. So you had that stuff set up. Now, what this movie does, Days of Future Past, is it takes the old series, and I'm saying old as in the older 3 movies. It takes those, and all of those characters and actors, and it takes the First Class, and it blends them together. It breaches, it makes a crossover, okay? So what's happening is that we are in the future. It's become crazy because an inventor named Dr. Trask is played by Peter Dinklage, played very well by him, by the way. I know people love him from Game of Thrones. I don't like that show. Sorry, it's kind of boring to me. I struggled to get through the 4 episodes I watched, and I couldn't do it anymore. But anyway, I still like Dinklage, and he was great in this movie. So he is basically the creator of the Sentinels, which are these robots that know to hunt down and kill mutants. That's their job. And it's this whole thing in the Nixon era. Yeah, it's in the 70s, I believe 73 is where he is, and he pitches this to Nixon and his cabinet, and they create these things to hunt and kill mutants. Now, this is helped by the fact that one mutant goes to try to kill Trask, and I will leave it at that. And as we see things in the past and what they become with the Sentinels, you realize this was a big mistake. So the future X-Men, which you have, of course, Magneto and Professor X working together at this point because there aren't many mutants left. You have Kitty Pryde. You have Colossus. You have Iceman, who, by the way, I love that you finally get to see him kind of ride the ice like he did in the old 80s cartoons and in the comic books. You know, he has like the sheet of ice that he kind of sprays in front of him and he glides along. Love that. I don't even know what to call it, a track, whatever. But you have those 3. You have, I'm trying to think of his name. You have Blink. That's another one. You have Warpath. That's who I'm trying to think. It hit me. And they're all fighting a guy named Sunspot, who I was unaware of. but they're all fighting these Sentinels, and what they do is that Kitty Pryde can get into your head and send you back in time to... It's not send you back in time. It's a little complicated. She will send your consciousness, your current today consciousness, in time back to a previous version of you. So, say my consciousness right now can go back 10 days into my body 10 days ago and be aware of things and change things. So, as they are slaughtered by the Sentinels, Kitty Pryde will take Bishop, send his consciousness back a couple days, tell them, hey, get the fuck out of here. The Sentinels are coming, and so they'll be able to continue to live. Otherwise, these Sentinels continuously hunt them down. Now, they want to fix things. So what they do is they go back as far as they can, which is 1973, and Kitty has to do this, and they want to go back and into one of the X-Men's consciousness and get them to stop this from happening, this murder of Dr. Trask, because that's what sets things in motion. They want to send Professor X, but he's old, and his body and his brain can't really handle it. It takes a lot for Kitty to send somebody back, and it will tear your brain apart if you're not strong enough to send you back, especially that far. I mean, we're talking 50 years, okay? Because this is in the near future that's happening. So, send somebody back 50 years. And I know it's the near future because I was born in 76 and I'm 2 years off of 40. So, 50 years, we're talking not that far from now. So, anyway, she only has one option, and it's Wolverine, because his brain will constantly repair itself, right? His healing powers. So she sends him back to 1973, and his goal is to take in his consciousness, in his old body, which, looks the same because he barely ages, and set things right, get a hold of young Xavier, young Eric, so on and so forth, and fix things. It's a great, completely encapsulated story. I loved it, every bit of it. I still, I'm debating back and forth with myself whether or not I like this or First Class better. It's very tough. What I love about this is you get to see young and old Magneto, young and old Professor X. It's cool. It's really interesting how it's done. We see Bishop for the first time, and we also see Quicksilver for the first time. Now, in this movie, we have Evan Peters as Quicksilver, and you probably know him best from American Horror Story. I'm going to tell you right now, he is so great, and he has one scene that just I love so much, where you kind of see things the way he sees them while he's moving, and it's awesome. So well done. And, Bryan Singer is back at the helm of this thing, so, it was taken seriously. There is an upcoming X-Men Apocalypse, which, I don't know exactly the whole story in that, and Evan Peters will be back in it as Quicksilver. Now, the problem with this character is that in the Avengers Age of Ultron, which comes out in 2015, X-Men Apocalypse is 2016, we get Aaron Taylor Johnson, who you will know as Kick-Ass. I don't know if I like that as much. I like Evan Peters so much more as an actor, as much as I love Kick-Ass, the first one. I haven't seen the second one because I'm a little nervous to watch it, thinking it's going to be shit. But I think Evan Peters is great. He's definitely fun to watch in American Horror Story, especially the second season. So good in that second season that, I don't think you can go wrong with him. And what I'd love for these fucking dumbass companies to do, Fox, Marvel, Disney, what's the other one? Sony, that has Spider-Man. I would love for them to just get together and go, look, we're making a shit ton of money with these movies. We are. Why don't we, yes, we each license, but why don't we, if we're going to use a character to cross over, because obviously they both have the right to use Quicksilver. Why don't we use one actor? And this is where creative differences can come to play. I get that. Where somebody goes, nah, I don't like Evan Peters. Nah, I don't like Aaron Taylor Johnson. Whatever. But just fucking come together on this stuff and start linking them together. And even if it comes to a point where you eventually do, say you did a Quicksilver movie, okay? Fuck it. Put Fox, put Marvel, Disney on all of it. I mean, what's the harm in that? Seriously. Get together, create a giant continuum. Because I know Disney just wants to get the fucking rights back. But as long as they keep making the movies, you know, the rights extend for Fox. And they're doing a great job with the X-Men anyway. Sony, you know, the reboot was a quick, hurry up, let's do something with this Spider-Man thing. And I have yet to see Spider-Man 2, but I'm not hearing great things, even though I like the first one. So, and from people who like the first one, by the way, I'm not hearing great things. So, yeah. But anyway, Quicksilver, great character. So many interesting and intriguing things happen in this movie. And again, it is a fully encapsulated story. This storyline needs no sequel, but it's still part of the mainframe of the X-Men universe, the movie universe, we'll say, which is great. And I mean, again, we're 7 movies into this, and I like it. I really like what they're doing. I think they're doing a fine job, and I'm looking forward to Apocalypse. I have no idea what it's about, really, but it's going to be good. A nice thing about this movie is that it changes some things about the previous movies, some of the previous movies, things that you will like. There are some great cameos in here. People you thought I didn't know I was going to see him or her again, which is cool. But again, it's all about fucking with history. So I'm going to say see it. Go see it in the theater if you can still. If not, it's a great watch, really good. And you don't really... It probably helps to see First Class beforehand, so you get to see the relationship, like how it built between Eric and Charles. But again, it's a good standalone storyline, and I think it's right up there with First Class. It's a great flick, and everybody should see it. So those are my 2 cents. I think I gave you probably $10.02 right there. So, but thank you guys for tuning in. I do appreciate it. I hope you like the pod shorts. There will be, like I said, this will give us something every week. So we're not off our schedule, and we're back to it. And you know, I hope you like it. Let us know. Email us. Do all that stuff. All that information is tagged at the end. And I don't have much else to say. I don't think I could say anything else, but we'll see you next time, and have a good one. Subscribe and download back episodes of Cinema Head Cheese the podcast, and read all of our movie reviews and news at cinemaheadcheese.com. Email us at cinemaheadcheese@yahoo.com. Search Cinema Head Cheese on Facebook and tweet us at CINHeadCheese. And for more podcasts, books, comics, blogs, and videos, head to abnormalentertainment.com.
You've been listening to the Abnormal Entertainment Network.